Good evening, students. So, as promised, I am going to share how to write a letter of complaint with you for your reference. All right. So, I will explain you the format of letter of complaint and how do we write a letter of complaint. Okay. And I will share an example with you. That way, you will be able to understand it better. Right. So, now, first of all, let's read the question. So now the question says, you are a resident of Mayur Vihar, New Delhi. Your daughter's marriage was booked with Kundli Marriage Hall on 2nd May 2022. There were a lot of problems faced by the guests at the wedding. Write a letter to the manager of the wedding venue stating your plight. Okay, so you will get similar kind of question in your exams, right? So first of all, you need to identify few things, right? So in the very first line, what do you see? You notice that the name of the place where you reside is mentioned, right? So we'll underline Mayur Vihar, New Delhi. Okay, this is your address. And who are you? You are the sender of the letter because you are writing the letter and you are sending it to someone, right? So this is sender's address, your address. Let's see the next line. Your daughter's marriage was booked with Kundli Marriage Hall on 2nd May 2022. It means it is the main problem because of which you are writing the letter, right? There were a lot of problems faced by the guests at the wedding. So now from here, you can mark like this and you can write down that this is the main problem or the main issue. So you will write like main problem. All right. And then the last thing. Write a letter to the manager of the wedding venue stating your plight. Means now the problem that you are facing should be conveyed to someone. But who is that authority to whom you are writing the letter to, right? So that authority is the manager. That person is the manager of the wedding venue. And what is the wedding venue? It is given in the question itself. That is Kundli Marriage Hall, right? So first thing that you must know your address. You must know who is writing the letter. So here name is not given in the question. So it means you are sending the letter, okay? For example, if it was given Manas or Manasi, then if you are a boy, you could have written Manas. And if you were a girl, you could have written Manasi, right? But here the name is not given. So we can write down ABC or XYZ, right? So sender's address is given, problem is given, and to whom we are writing the letter to, that is the receiver. So receiver's address is also given. Manager of the wedding venue, that is manager of Kundli Marriage Hall. Okay, now let us understand the format. So this is how we write a letter of complaint. The format is almost similar to any kind of formal letter, right? So we begin a letter of complaint by writing sender's address. As I mentioned, you are the sender, okay? And you live in Mayur Vihar, New Delhi, right? So you can just write any random house number. For example, I have written hashtag 496 and then you will write Mayur Vihar and in the next line New Delhi. Please keep this thing in mind that you have to write the address to the left hand side, that is closer to the margin, right? And everything will be written closer to the margin only. Okay? And then your address should be written in at least 2 or 3 lines. So I have written like this. Okay, I have divided it into 3 lines: house number, then place or maybe sector if you are in Chandigarh, and then the main place, that is New Delhi. Then after that you will leave 1 line, then the date. Now the date on which you are writing the letter. For example, I have written this letter on 17 May 2022. Now students, there are 2 ways of writing the date. Either you can write this way, that is date, month, year. Or you can write down May 17th, comma 2022. But if you ask me, I would recommend that this way is much better. There are less chances of error and no commas are required, right? So please refer this way only. 17 May 2022. Then again leave one line. Then comes the receiver's address, right? The one who will receive our letter. So you are writing this letter to the manager. Manager of which organization? Kundli Marriage Hall. And which place? Preferably the same place that you are living in, right? So do not write Chandigarh here, because you are writing this letter, you are residing in New Delhi. So of course, you will be writing the letter to the manager who himself is residing in New Delhi or nearby places, right? So here I have written New Delhi. Now one more thing, students. Sometimes you may write a letter of complaint related to the problem of a product. For example, you have received a defective good. So in that case, you will write the letter to the manager of the company, of the organization, right, from where you have purchased the product. Or for example, you're writing the letter of complaint because of the problem of sanitation or drinking water. So either you can write down the complaint to electricity board, manager of or the director of electricity board, water board, or maybe to the authority of college, to the dean of college maybe, right? So accordingly, as per the question, you will change this receiver's address, right? Again, I have used 3 lines to mention its address. The manager, Kundli Marriage Hall, New Delhi. Then leave one line, subject. Now your subject should be a short and crisp. Okay, it should be shorter and crisp. It should not be comprising of 6 words or 7 words. It should be around 2 to 5 words only, not more than 5 words. So here I have written improper marriage arrangements. Okay, then again leave one line. Then the salutation, dear sir or madam. Now because we don't know that the manager is a lady or a gentleman, so you will write both the things, dear sir oblique madam. Okay, now in some cases we write salutation first and subject at the last, so don't worry about that. So you can use the format either ways, right? Okay, now your letter comprises of 3 paragraphs, just like article writing, just like factual description. So in a letter writing also, in a formal letter of complaint also, there are 3 paragraphs. First one is the introductory paragraph, where you will just give the introduction. Why are you writing this letter? What is this complaint all about? Okay, then you will mention the problem, the main issues that you have faced, because of which you are complaining the letter. And the last one is the conclusive, right? That is the conclusion, where you suggest a solution or you want to resolve the problem in a certain way, right? So now let me quickly tell you which sentences, what kind of vocabulary you can use to begin your letter. Okay, for example, I would like to draw your attention towards an issue that. So either you can use this way, or you can, if you don't like this sentence, I would like to throw some light on a problem that. If you don't want to write this, okay, then there is another way. This is to bring to your notice that. Okay, so you can choose any of these sentences. Please do not write all these 3 sentences in your exam. Okay, you can pick any one of these. So for example, I have chosen, this is to bring to your notice that. Now this is how you start. I had booked the Kundli Marriage Hall for my daughter's wedding. The booking was done on 2nd May 2022 and the marriage took place on 15th May 2022. So I have written this date keeping in consideration that I am writing this letter on 17th. So I have written the date nearby to 17th May. Okay? 15th May. There was a lot of inconvenience faced by the guests at the wedding. So I have just stated my problem. I have just given the introduction of the problem. Okay, why am I writing this letter? Now let's come to the second paragraph, that is the problem. The arrangement was promised for 150 guests, but to my utter disappointment, the seating arrangements were not at par with the claims. Means, as promised, it was not it was not up to the mark. It was not fulfilling the promise, right? So you promised me that you will make arrangements for 150 guests, but I'm very sad that the sitting arrangement was very less and it was not appropriate and it was not up to the mark. It was not as claimed by you, right? You have not fulfilled that responsibility. The catering staff was not wearing proper uniform. Maybe we are just, developing a hypothetical situation here. We are assuming that, we were promised that all the waiters will be in proper uniform. But what you have noticed, what problems you have faced, that catering staff was not wearing proper uniform. But you said that they will be in proper uniform, right? And the food was just average. In fact, the food was not very tasty or it was not very delicious. It was just average. So you have to use words very politely and you should not be very blunt or rude. So use like simple words, okay? Your meaning should be clear, your message should be clear, but use not very offensive languages, okay? Do not use very offensive one. The air condition system went completely off board, which was one of the biggest hindrances during the function. So now the air condition system was not functioning properly and this was one of the biggest obstacle. It was one of the biggest problem. It was one of the biggest hindrance that was faced during the function. So now in 2-3 lines or in 3-4 lines you have just mentioned, you have described in detail about your problem, about your complaint. Now what is the solution? What can be done? That is the third paragraph, conclusion. Now very politely you will state, it is my humble request to provide me a reasonable fund or any other compensation in this matter. So either you give me the refund of the money that I have paid or give me any other compensation, right? It is advised that, now you are giving him suggestion, it is advised that prior scanning of the arrangements shall be done so that the image of your business does not get adversely affected. Now you are giving him a caution that you better be careful next time, but you are just describing it in a very simpler manner, okay, so that it does not become offensive. So you have written it like this. It is advised that, very politely you are saying that. And immediate responses awaited. Now you are saying that we are waiting for your response and I hope so that you will reply to us immediately as soon as you will receive the letter. So for that you are writing an immediate response is awaited. And this way you close your letter. Okay? And then after that leave one line, yours faithfully. Okay, that is the complimentary clause. And then here I have forgot to put signatures. You can write your signatures also. Put your signatures here and then your name. If the name is given, for example, Manas or Manasi, you will write Manas or you can write Manasi. If the name is not given, you can write ABC, PQR, XYZ. Right? So I hope you have now understood how to write a letter of complaint. I hope now you will not face any problem in writing it. Wish you all the best for your exams.